Hello friends, this is Harshal and welcome to my YouTube channel, that is Harshal's Cloud. And in this video, I'm going to explain the theory part of Codepipeline explained. So actually it is the second video on this AWS Codepipeline theory part. So let's get started. Okay, so here you can see tagging resources, right? So the tagging is one of the main feature that one of the main feature of AWS cloud, right? So we can give a tag to a particular resources or to a particular services, right? So that we can actually identify that what kind of resources has been working on or in which project it is for, right? So yeah, so let's quickly read this statements. A tag is a custom attribute label that you or AWS assign to an AWS resource. So it's a kind of attribute label, right? So it basically has two parameter, that is key and value, right? So here you can see that key value pair. So if we are giving the key, here are some example. We can give a key that is cost center or environment. We can give a project name. We can mention the environment as well, or any kind of secret, right? And the value could be, if there is an environment, then if you are working in IT sector, then you might understand, you have that knowledge that there are basically three types of environment provided, that is test, production and development, right? So other than that, there are many environments may have in the IT sector or the related enterprises that you are working in. But there are basically, in general, there are basically three environment: test, prod and development. So if you are giving an environment, then you can mention the name of that environment. If you are providing the tag key, that is project, so the name of that project you can mention, right? Then together these are called key value pairs. Okay, so tagging is used on the mechanism of key value pairs, right? Then tag a custom action in Codepipeline. We can also give a tag by using AWS CLI, right? It is also possible. So let me tell you quickly, let me show you that how can you give a tag to Codepipeline. Okay, so for that we are in the pipeline, and here in the pipeline, okay, this is the pipeline. And if you go to the setting here, right, here you will get the tag, pipeline tag, right? So it means that you can add tags here. Simply click over here and you can give a key and the value, right? For example, environment, right? Then what environment you are working in. Let us say I'm working on production, so you can give it. Okay, otherwise if you have any project, if you are working on any project, so give the project name as well. Okay, so this kind of tags you can give it to a pipeline. So for now I'm not giving any tag, right? Then okay, go to the next. Okay, so here are the VPC means it is the virtual private cloud. Virtual private cloud means it is a network, right? So there is by default network. AWS has its own network, right? But if anybody wants to create their own network so that others cannot disturb or cannot get into the network, right? So if you are using default network, then everybody who's using AWS network, by default AWS network or general network. So anybody can chip in into that network. So that is the worst part. So that's why it is providing VPC for your pipeline, right? So if you have created a pipeline and you want that the pipeline is safe and secure, then and others the stakeholders only can use that pipeline, and others should not use or should not disturb, right? Should not chip in into the pipeline. Then in that case you can create your own personal network, that is VPC, right? So virtual private network, you can create your private network, your private cloud, right? So then you can connect directly to Codepipeline through a private endpoint in VPC, right? So private endpoint, so it is provided by AWS private link, right? It enables you, it allows you to create your own private network, and nobody can actually access your network, and keeping all traffic inside your VPC and AWS network, right? Okay, then create VPC endpoint for Codepipeline. So we can actually create the VPC endpoint for the Codepipeline, right? Then use the Amazon VPC console to create com.amazon.aws.reason.codepipeline VPC endpoint. So basically we need to create VPC endpoint to give more security, or to create a private cloud or the network. So that VPC endpoints needs to be created. Okay, now next, so start a pipeline in Codepipeline. So how it gets started, right? So we can start it manually. Okay, so how to start manually? So I'm going to show you, it's very easy. Okay, so right now I'm in my pipeline dashboard, and here if you release the change, then what happen? It will start from the beginning, right? So what I have done, I simply click on the release change, and it started executing from the very first stage, right? So yes, okay, so now it is in second state, execution enters into second stage, and the second stage, that is testing stage, is locked. So this is called a manual starting. We are actually start the pipeline manually. If you want to automate the execution, right? So if you want to start pipeline automatically, in that case what you have to do, you can simply create a CloudWatch event. If you created the CloudWatch event for the changes, so whatever the changes we made in the repository or in the source code, so automatically it will trigger, right? CloudWatch event will trigger, and complete pipeline will started running. Okay, so this is the automatic start, right? Automatic start to Codepipeline. Now there is third kind of pipeline, that is on schedule, right? You can also schedule by using AWS CloudWatch. In AWS CloudWatch you can schedule your pipeline for for any specific time. Let us say you want to start Codepipeline every day at 12 a.m. right? So in that case what happen, automatically it gets started at 12 a.m. every day, right? So this is CloudWatch. So it is basically based on CloudWatch. Okay, so here you can see that when a pipeline execution starts, it runs a revision through every stage and action in the pipeline. When a source changes, okay, when we change the source, it will trigger to CloudWatch event, and CloudWatch event start the pipeline. Then we can start pipeline manually, right? So we can release the change and it will start it from first stage manually. Then on a schedule, right? So we can schedule a time, we can schedule a specific time, so that our code pipeline starts on that specific time every day or whatever the time you set for. Okay, so that is possible. Now the next one is source action. So you know very well that what are the source actions. Source action means the first stage, okay, that is the source stage. So what is the source stage? Okay, so we can use Amazon S3 as the source action or source stage, right? Then we can use Bitbucket, then AWS code commit, then Amazon ECR, right? Then GitHub Enterprise Cloud, GitHub Enterprise Server. So these are the source action, right? So basically these resources, these are AWS resources and the third-party resources. So these resources basically act as a repository, right? It gives you a service to create a repository where we can store our code or the application or the software, right? So yeah, now start and stop pipeline execution. Now how to start pipeline, you know very well. Okay, so manually we can do that, okay, and on schedule also automatically it will start. So now how to stop? Okay, stop a pipeline execution. We can stop pipeline execution and we can stop an inbound execution, then pipeline execution, then inbound execution. Okay, so this is for console and this is for CLI. We can use CLI as well. Here also we can use console and here we can use CLI. Okay, so okay, so let me tell you everything. So here what happened? Okay, I tell you everything right from the first stage, that is source stage. So here you can see that pipeline execution ID. This is the pipeline execution ID, right? And if you want action ID, then in that case what happen? You simply click on I button here and you will get action execution ID here, right? Then you will get some that format, repository name, what repository uses, okay, output artifact. So everything you will get here, okay, from master branch to the output artifact. So you can get everything here, right? And okay, then here you can see this is the transition. Okay, so we can actually disable the transition. If we disable the transition, in that case what happened? The execution enters into the first stage, but it will not pass to the second stage. It will not enter to second stage because we have disabled the transition, and that's why here we can disable the transition, right? We can give some reason, or if you don't, that is also fine. We can directly disable the transition, so it will not allow to enter in stage 2, right? So yeah, this is the transition. Okay, so whatever the ID going into the second stage, that is the inbound execution ID, right? And okay, so delete. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let we talk on the next, that is history. So here history, you can see a lot of execution ID. right? These are the execution ID and these are the status. Okay, this is the status. Okay, and when, how much duration it will take to run a complete pipeline, and when it is completed, right? Then it will trigger what is trigger. So pipeline execution will trigger definitely. So we can see this, right? So we can see the history, and if you want to get more about execution ID or source revision, right? So you can simply click here and open. So here you will get code commit. Where is, okay, you can view the revision. Okay, and here are the action name. So it will go through what actions, right? Then stage names, then the status, okay, where it gets failed. So in lambda testing it gets failed, so that's why it will not go to the deployment stage or the approval stage, because it is failed on third stage. So that's why it will not go to enters into the fourth stage. Then here the action provider, right, or the action types, we can say that is AWS Lambda. The testing of the code we are doing by using AWS code build. Then the source is we are using here, that is AWS code commit, and here you can see that when it started and when completed and the duration of the time for executing those stages. Okay, so then the last one is setting. Here you will get 3 tabs, right? So here in history, okay, there are nothing. Okay, in the setting there are 3 tabs we are getting, that is general tab, notification tab, and the pipeline tag, right? So that pipeline tag, you know very well that why we are using this pipeline tag. We can give a name to our pipeline. Then this is the general information you will get here about Codepipeline. So the name of the pipeline you can see here, then the ARN of the pipeline you will get here, and the service role, right? So service role ARN here is, right? Then the artifact store, where artifact is stored, you can see that here S3 bucket, artifact stored in S3 bucket, and the region is US East 2 and the location is here. Okay, so you will get all the details here, all the important details you can get here. And here you can also create the notification rule. You know very well that we can create a notification by using SNS topic. We should create SNS topic and subscribes the stakeholders or the developers or whoever working in that project, so we can add them, we can subscribe them to SNS topics, so that the notification will be sent to their email. Okay, so that is the notification. So if you click here and you can simply create SNS topic, right? So here if you go, so that is SNS topic, and you should choose the target, or you can create here, right? So we discard here for now. Okay, if you click here, then there is notification rules. We can set the notification rule here as well, right? Okay, we have set the notification rule here in the pipeline, and those rule you can see here in the setting, right? So whatever the notification rule you have set, you will get the complete list of the notification rules here. Okay, and the rule target you will get here. You can read here the rule target. So that's it here. Then the last one is connection, right? So basically connection we can create for GitHub, right? Okay, some internet issue. Okay guys, so we can basically create connection for Bitbucket, GitHub, and Git Enterprise Server, right? So if you want to store, if you have your code or the software in Bitbucket repository, then you can simply connect to your Bitbucket account, or if it is available in GitHub, then connect to your GitHub account or the enterprise server, GitHub enterprise server. So in that way you can connect to it, right? So you can also give a tag for this. You can give the connection name and you can simply provide a tag, and you are good to connect to GitHub. So that's what we can do here. Here in the connection option or the tab, here you can see the host. Okay, so right now there are no hosts because I have actually disabled the host for now. So yeah, you should know that there are two types, connection and the host, right? Let's get back to our slides. So here, how to stop Codepipeline. You know very well that how can we stop execution. So till again I am showing you. If I go here, right, so I can stop the complete pipeline from here, stop execution, right? Then you will get two options. So I already explained both the options, that stop and wait, how it works, and stop and abandon, how it works, right? So you have that idea. So okay, so this will actually stop the complete pipeline. Okay, but I want to stop a specific action, right? In that case, what can we do? Right, so this is action execution ID. So just click on it, and right now we are in execution ID, right? And you will get all the details, right? So here, execution summary, right? Then action details. Here you can see the action details, action configuration, and here is the output variables, right? So code commit ID, and here are commit message and the committer date. Okay, so everything you can see here. So view in code commit, no, okay, maybe I have clicked on. Okay, if we click here, or okay, we can simply go to history, and if I want to delete this execution ID, so simply click on it, and here I can stop the execution, right? For stopping the execution, right? So we can stop execution, action execution from here. And if you want to stop the pipeline execution, you can simply go to your pipeline, and here directly you will get the option that how to stop the execution. So I hope that you understand both the steps, then execution, then inbound execution, then manually we know that how to do it, right? So yeah, we are good. Then view pipeline details and history console, right? So we have already viewed the pipelines, and we have already gone through the history. So how view pipeline and execution history, where you can see execution status, inbound execution, then pipeline execution, view action execution, so everything. Okay, so that pipeline ARN, I just show you everything. Okay, and service role ARN, you can see this in the setting. Okay, so there is a tutorial. Okay, no, this is not the tutorial, this is data protection in AWS Codepipeline. So what are the what are the features available for the data protection in AWS code pipeline. So we can see here, okay, it uses the multi-factor authentication for with each account, okay. Then SSL and TLS certificate is also we can use to communicate with AWS resources. Then we can also set up API and user activity logging with the AWS CloudTrail. Then AWS encryption solution is also available. So a lot of steps you can see here, right? So basically multi-factor authentication is generally used, and that SSL certificate or TLS certificate or that one, right? So everything is you can use any of this, but this is the most popular action takes in the industry, IT industry. So okay, now best policies or policy best practices. Okay, so what is the best practices? So get started using AWS managed policies, right? We can use AWS managed policies. We can grant list privilege. Okay, so give as list as privileges to your subordinate staff or who is working in the organization. So who's working in the organization to according to their department, you can give the list permission privilege, right? So that the somebody is working in the account section, so he cannot able to access the software which is apparently created for the tech environment or the tech person. So the account person cannot access, he should not have access for accessing those software. Then enable MFA for sensitive operation, right? Multi-factor authentication, it should be enabled. This is the best practice. Then use policy condition for extra security. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Have a good day. Bye.